And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight as we return to London, specifically Soho, on Kine Country, our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition live play game set in London 2 years after the events of the supplement The Fall of London, in which mortal authorities decimated vampire rule on London. It is more or less a no man's land now for Kindred. Camarilla is gone, Sabbat non-existent, Anarchs don't want anything to do with the place. So now it's literally small packs of vampires, small gangs, carving out pieces of the city for themselves, while trying to stay under the radar of the authorities. Before we jump into tonight's events, which granted will be a bit of a recap considering it's been a hot minute since our last game, and we have brand new members of the cast. Two of them could not join us tonight, but those you actually seen if you were during that first episode some months ago. These are new members of the cast, and we're gonna let them introduce themselves and who they are playing. But let's start with the one you may know. Nate, take it away.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Michael or Gabriel Hale at any point this evening, your resident Malkavian.
Adrian.
Hello, I'm Adrian, and I am playing Violetta St. Pierre, and she is a adventurer.
And the Sword and Scepter. And last but not least,
I'm Megan, and I'll be playing Clove. Just Clove. She's a Nosferatu. No one needs to know her last name. It's too much information.
we'll find that out eventually, I suppose.
Eh.
For the right price. So once upon a time, there was a coterie in Soho that pretty much took control of the entire domain. They gathered allies, took different factions in, and strengthened their base. But eventually things got too hot, and they all went to ground, more or less disbanding the coterie with only a couple of their members remaining. The power structure collapsed, the allies fled, and newcomers moved into the territory. There are new factions in play which are trying to take over. Now a new Soho Coterie is trying to recover what the old one built, and perhaps this time keep it. They still operate out of a burlesque club, which offers a business and a good way of getting people to come in and out. Few evenings ago, 3 members of this coterie, Michael or Gabriel, unknown at this moment which one was in the driver's seat in that moment. Ophelia, the resident Toreador. You can check out her OnlyFangs. And Felicity, the gangrel. They had a meeting with some of their allies who informed them of some intelligence regarding the other factions in play. Aside from that, Gabriel and Ophelia went to check on a former ally known as Max. an individual that once acted as the manager, the floor manager for the club, but also there was also a rather unique ghoul, as the previous coterie, which had a Tremere among its numbers, managed to create a ghoul that served all of them equally. The downside being that this ghoul would require all of their blood pulled together and shared as a single source for this ghoul. When the coterie went to ground, things got rough for this ghoul as they went through the withdrawal of this bond. A normal one has all the signs of a normal addiction, plus a heart-wrenching desire of being with the person who bonded you. For this person, the combination of those different bloods and the pull they felt towards the different members of the coterie manifested itself into what mortal doctors thought was schizophrenia. And even now they are under medication, as they are often seen, they often have very raw audiovisual hallucinations. Still, Gabriel and Ophelia, not knowing of this, decided to pay a visit and try to get them on board again. A deal was struck in that Max would serve as line manager once more, but they would be separate from all kindred business. And the first time that line is crossed, they were gone. We return this evening to the coterie. Ophelia and Felicity are out and about, taking a measure themselves of some of the factions in town. Clove. Where does Clove begin her night?
I probably in her haven, which is below a second run theater that she runs. She used to run it with her sire, so they kind of own the building, and that's also a really good place to feed. Because people fall asleep during films a lot, and it's you can just kind of do that, and they're fine with it, and you give them a free popcorn.
Interesting. For the record, for our audience, what predator type is Clove?
Oh, she's a Sandman.
Fit right
she
in
feeds
with
off
this group.
Sleeping folks. Yes.
You awaken and immediately the first thing you feel, it's a cross between hearing and feeling, almost like a tickle. It's the clicking of mandibles in your ears. It follows the feeling that the hunger has risen.
Okay.
Your mind is filled with images of things trapped in the web, being spun carefully until they're mobile and helpless, just for fangs to do their deed.
She looks like, hey, no. I'll take care of it. Just okay. No, just give me a second. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's get on my head. I gotta check my friends first. I gotta check, and she does like a quick unliving hive check. Everybody, how you doing?
You extend your hands, and from whatever pore, or let's use the technical term, orifices that they need, be it through your nose, your mouth, or any other place that they can.
They're classy.
Spiders flow out of your body and move swarming around you.
Okay.
For a moment, almost looks like a cloth. Only the cloth is made of hundreds of tiny legs moving all over you. And once you realize they're all there, all accounted for, all standing at attention, they hide away again, burrowing in your skin. You take, even though you don't need it, a deep breath and seemingly consume them again.
Yeah, all right, okay, don't worry. I'll eat and then you can eat. Okay. All right. Okay. I think so I feel like it's just like a little just like a little corner bed, nothing fancy, and she just puts on like a dark hoodie, quiet boots.
So the Nosferatu uniform.
Yeah. But the big thing she does is she puts on these big sunglasses because her eyes are much more spidery eyes than human eyes. So these are always there. She kind of puts on a hat over her ears and a hoodie over the hat. So just like that, make sure everything is, she has kind of grayish skin with some like kind of red marks, but that can just seem like just a bad skin, especially at night. Yeah, so she just kind of feels everything seems okay. Ears are covered, eyes are covered, spiders are inside. Okay, all right, and she'll then she kind of goes up. And
Grove doesn't have a heartbeat as Kindred, but replacing it is the gentle skittering of your unliving hive as they move within your chest.
Yeah, she's never alone. And since she's kind of hungry, she'll double check, and she's pretty sure. She always makes sure that there is like an evening show, and it's usually something about 3 hours long with a lot of subtitles. So usually just about the time she's emerging, there's at least a couple folks in there with a good snore on. And she'll kind of sneak into the theater.
Have you make your hunting roll for me?
Okay, let me see what her hunting roll is. 1 second. All right.
See how well you perform this task. This is your not just your home. In a way, it's also your hunting ground. So I'm going to give you an extra die for this.
Okay, so I think it's Dex and Stealth, yeah? All right, let me see here. 1, 2. Okay, all right. Okay, this is great. Sorry, I'm just doing this real quick. All right, All right. Roll. All right, I put my pool in. Do I put my hunger in for this?
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay. This is great. Okay.
Hunger is part of most pools.
I will need reminding while I. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. A success.
How many successes?
It looks like just the one.
Perfect. You
One.
Saddle up next to a sleeping figure and just take a nibble while the skittering in your mind grows louder. And you have images of you spinning this individual in a cocoon and ensuring he sleeps a deeper, permanent sleep.
That is unnecessary. It is way too much attention in her head. She's and she does have a coupon for a free popcorn that she just like slides into the top pocket.
That you sate 1 point of hunger, unless you wish to sate all your hunger.
Oh no, not here. This is where she works and lives.
Did they get orange juice in the cookie as well?
It's okay. Be a little tired. It's okay. She's done this a lot. People don't even know. Shh. And then she actually stays for like 10 minutes and watches the film a little. Like sometimes she loses focus. Like, oh, this is actually a good one.
While you're doing that, we'll move somewhere else. Violetta, where can we find you tonight? Are you at the club already or somewhere else?
I imagine before I head to the burlesque club, I'll be working most of the time. So I think this evening I'm supposed to have a meeting with my intern. She's been doing quite well recently, and honestly, it's going to be sad to see her go. She's kind of from the same town that I was born in, not too far from London, but it's taken quite a shine to her career, shall we say. So I believe I'm there this evening. I will also likely have the blush of life on. I don't want any disturbances. Luckily, that did not make me hungrier for this evening.
Well, the blush of life brings color to your cheeks and makes you seem alive to those who would look closer.
Excellent. For reference sake, her name is Felicity Weissman, and she is going to be taking the exam, her final exam for the bar within at least the next year or so, but she is spending a bit of time here, and she's going to make an excellent solicitor.
You meet Felicity in your office. Though unlike previous meetings when she was working and she would be there ready to take notes or any other task that would be presented to her by any of the partners or solicitors of the firm, now she is sitting comfortably across from you, sipping tea or coffee. I can't thank you enough for all you've taught me over the past few months. It's been such an honor to work with you and to learn from you. And I still have some things to study, but I'm confident that everything will go well.
Honestly, darling, it's been fantastic having you here. It's been the breath of fresh air. Things do get a little stale sometimes in this field, but I don't know. I suppose everyone here is more or less part of the hive, shall we call it? And I'd like to think you are definitely a good addition. And I actually wanted to get some of your impressions, darling, on the recent merger that we oversaw. Now, I think we might have slipped up just a little bit in terms of the percentage that we allowed the people that were taking over the business to accrue. But is there anything you felt we could have done differently, or perhaps I'm just being a little too critical in what we're doing?
There is a moment of silence. As you can see, almost see the gears turning in her head. Did she give, though, I would say make a wits and insight roll for me.
Fantastic. I have a specialty in micro expressions just
Oh yes, this will definitely play into that, giving you an extra die.
not the best roll that she's ever made, but I'll take it for this evening. It's all right. You know what?
You can always
Why
spend
not?
willpower to re-roll up to 3 of the black dice.
That's what I'll do, because why not? I'll spend one of my superficial willpower for this evening. Don't have a hell of a lot, but I have enough. Yeah, that's fine. 3.
You read
3
her
successes.
her face goes through a few expressions, minuscule. It's almost a twitch, but you're an expert in reading those. And there is a moment of surprise at being asked this in what is almost like an exit interview or just more of a social meeting as she is leaving her job as an intern. Then there is a moment where her eyes meet yours. You almost see a twitch in the corner of her mouth, almost a smile where you sense that she realizes this is just another test.
Fantastic. That's exactly what Violetta was hoping for.
And much like very much like a student, still unsure of herself, as she is not an experienced solicitor or anything, she first lays down what she knows and demonstrating once more to you that she has quite the memory. And then proceeds to follow through on everything you all did with her reasoning of why it was done. And she draws the conclusion on it that business-wise, in terms of what the expectations are for the firm, everything was done to the letter and to the expectations of the senior partners. But there were a few missed opportunities where perhaps a more aggressive stance could not have accrued better results. But that following those threads could have put certain aspects of the business in risk. That perhaps a more measured approach, which is the one that was taken, was perhaps the right call.
Violetta definitely smiles at this. And remind me to make sure to keep an eye on exactly when it is that you're due to pass the exam, because I don't want to be the last one in the door with a job offer.
She smiles brightly. I'll make sure that once the exam is done, I'll keep a special eye on the pile.
Well, I believe I am due to meet some of my colleagues for a drink. So I will leave you to your evening and I will begin to enjoy mine.
You exchange some last pleasantries and you depart.
Fantastic.
But you have gained not just a potential new employee, but also a fan. Someone who deeply admires you. Which I think just the kind of people you enjoy sharing a meal with.
Sure. Meal. Yeah. I'll call the car around and make my way to the club.
Michael, where do we find you tonight?
Well, he probably went straight to the club knowing that he's meeting people. So woke up, blushed,
Have you rolled for the
Um,
blush?
I have not rolled for the blush. I am
Let's
not
roll for the
hungrier
blush.
at waking. Do a roll for the blush.
Would you blush immediately
The
upon waking
mouse.
or wait until you get to the club?
Probably upon waking. Be easier to work out options afterwards. Don't know if it will let me do this. Browse.
I will tell you just as a reminder, the blush of life extends until the end of the scene. When you all
Yeah, that's
when you
true.
all meet at the club, that will be the beginning of a new scene. So
Yeah,
perhaps
that's
hold
true. I
off
forgot
on
that.
that.
So probably when he gets to the club. But I'll roll it so that it's rolled. The 9, so I'm good.
But
So I guess Michael wakes up, figures out what will annoy Gabriel the most and puts that on.
for those viewing, yes, Michael is a Malkavian with a dissociative personality disorder, and a curious twist, perhaps, given by the Malkavian curse is that Michael is fully aware of everything that Gabriel does, while Gabriel is completely oblivious to whatever decisions or actions Michael has taken. Just to clarify as we move forward.
He'll basically just head straight out. He's pretty aware that as late, they have quite a lot of work to do.
Is Michael and Gabriel's mode of transportation still a simple bike? With a bread basket and a little bell?
They should probably work on that. I think Michael would like to get a motorbike, and I think Gabriel is very against the idea.
Almost like one of them might need to make a choice.
Yeah, I feel like he made a choice and then it was just mysteriously missing the next time he went to find it. And it's just been like, I don't have the money to play this game, so I guess I'm sticking with the bike for now. Point of conjecture to convince him of that later. But so because he has to bike there, yeah, he just gets going. Point wasting time. And he feels good today. It's not hungrier. It's a good night. Good night.
Something that I think we mentioned last time, but we have a new crew, we have new players, this is in a way a new coterie from the last time we played. So I'll ask all three of you, what is the club called?
Gosh. What's the vibe of the place? Is it
It's a burlesque club. It is very. It's not trashy. It used to be trashy. One thing that
Before we got our hands on it.
the previous coterie did and has been maintained is that it's more high end now. It has a very more artistic vibe to it. It's still a burlesque club, but it's a nice kind of mood in it, and offers some deep shadows and a very grooving music for people to get comfortable, and sometimes even if they're very tired or very drunk, catch a few winks that would enable some enterprising sandman to grab a bite. Plus, it attracts crowds from all over and every area of interest, which means that sometimes people who are very much infatuated with the exploits of a certain solicitor come in and want to share a drink.
That works. That works. So then we can't call it anything like the muffin top or the peppermint hippo or nothing like that. It has to be classy. So I'll have to think about it.
We'll let you think about it, and we'll
I like that.
return to that one later.
Like the muffin top.
Whoever suggests Club Velvet will burn in the sun.
It's the Crimson Curtain.
I like that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna write it down.
sure. I didn't mind that.
We'll have that as
think
tentative for
that
now,
works.
and
Hey,
we'll see what everyone says, and maybe that'll become maybe our overlay or our waiting screen will have a
oh,
brand new
I see.
logo in there. But it is an early evening. People are still gathering. The dancers and other entertainers are still arriving. Right now, it's just a nice club with some relaxing music and more of the ambience to talk and enjoy. It's a very chill space. But there's people moving in and out, and a Nosferatu in a hoodie, a powerful solicitor, and a guy dressed in what seemed to be a Hawaiian shirt. They all blend in and move in. Members of the coterie, of course, head to the second floor. What used to be the owner's office has been turned into more of a coterie space where you can gather and discuss plans and issues. Michael, on arrival, you see Max in charge of, business. Already handling all the minutiae of running the business. So very much when they notice you, very much move away towards another part of the club to speak to someone else.
Just kind of he'll incline his head like an acknowledgement of them and a hello, but not in engage because he knows they don't want to. So he just doesn't want to come off as like pointedly ignoring them either. So like an open offer, hello, and then move on.
For Violetta and Clove, you've met Max. They're a female presenting non-binary individual. Very buzz cut hair and in essentially a very standard, almost like Men in Black kind of business suit and tie. They act as the floor manager and pretty much take care of every aspect of the mundane business while you handle your own business. On coming in, let's just say the relationship is professional, if a bit curt and unfriendly. Though I will ask, has Michael explained some of the background to the members of the coterie?
Yes, but I feel like they would have got it twice because I feel like Michael would have explained it as this is what happened, blah blah blah. And I think Gabriel would have intoned how displeased they were with the arrangement in the beginning anyway, considering their stance on bonds full stop is pretty much a hard no. And although this wasn't necessarily discussed, I feel like the only reason either of them would have kind of been on board would have been the idea that what they did was supposed to lessen the bond, but it actually did the opposite, and that's kind of where they're at.
Clove and Violetta, each of you, as you're coming in your own due time, clock Max doing whatever work they're supposed to be doing. And I will leave it to you if you wish to interact or move along.
I think both of them would have told you, though, Max is fantastic at everything that they do, and they're good people. They're a good person. And it's both
I can
like
only speak for Max in terms of their relationship with Ophelia and Gabriel, having a longer experience with that coterie and all that they went through when that disappeared. But that does not mean that your relationship with them has to be of any similar kind. So that's why I'll leave it to you to tell me if you interact or not.
I think also, just to finalize my thought on Max with regards to Gabriel and Michael, I feel like if Gabriel is the one who told you Max is good people, like, feel free, like, if you want to interact with them, please do. It would have been very much they're good people, please be kind, blah, 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 but then would also have had that undertone of like, but if anything happens to them, I'll fuck you up. Like, even if they don't want anything to do with Michael or Gabriel, they've kind of like got that vibe of, yeah, but they're still one of our people. Like, whether they want to be or not, they are. And there's that protection kind of
I
there.
would say that Michael and Gabriel have made it, if not explicitly clear, have at least hinted that Max is what we would call off limits.
Yes.
Or kindred stuff.
Yes.
Very well. So again, I leave it to you how you wish to engage or not.
I imagine Violetta's probably as personable as she would be with any other staff member, which is pretty decent. But, it's not the kind of, just very much the kind of person that office hours are office hours. When you're not in office hours, I don't give a fuck what you do, and I expect you just to answer emails on the weekend if you're not working on the weekend, because I won't.
I think Clove enters the club even though she is not using unseen passage, like she's using unseen passage, and that like kind of like not looking at anybody, just kind of standing around the corner. I also think at this point she's probably fairly intimidated to ever talk to Max because she's worried. So I think it's almost like there's this bubble around Max that Clove never pierces. Like, just if their eyes ever meet, it's like, hey! And she like runs up to the second floor.
Well,
You're more scared of them than they are of you.
Oh, absolutely.
to finish introductions of club staff and overall, let's call it coterie allies.
Please.
There are 3 gangrel in direct employment from the club. One of them is a man called Robert Burrow, more usually called Bobby. He more or less acts as your handyman. He takes care of, make sure that everything is working right, and is usually very much involved if the entertainment requires any special rig or anything to be constructed. He is the workman assigned to such things. He's also the person who's been gathering information for you around Soho regarding the other factions or gangs that have moved in. and he will likely mention some things tonight as you're all gathering. The other two are two twins. One of them dresses very much in like jeans, boots, a bomber jacket, and has completely shaved head. Her name is Ricky. And the other one is more dressed in a mix of punk goth with a side flop that has faded in color and is now just like a muddy gradient. Her name is Nikki. Ricky's attitude is usually fairly serious, not unpleasant, but direct kind of person. Bobby, by the way, is always extremely pleasant. Kind of person that always has a smile on his face, and if he doesn't, things really have shit hit the fan. Nikki, on the other hand, is incredibly jittery. Not through anything medical. It's more someone who seems to be permanently nervous and anxious. They usually, both Nick and Ricky, work on the lower levels. They very much handle social media and the website and all of that sort of stuff. With that, you gather in your office. And I leave this to you for a moment to take care of any pleasantries or talk anything you wish. And you let me know when Bobby can come in.
I would
Am I late
say,
again?
wouldn't you have been the first one there? Maybe. I don't know. I wonder who would
I
have
was
been the first
asking,
one there.
do I cycle faster than anybody else?
I would say
I
you
had
get there
working.
faster because you are closer. Usually. Well, Violetta does have a high-paying job that has an office in a place that is definitely not Soho.
Not Soho. Okay, in which case Michael's gonna sort of drop in on the twins, say hello, make sure they're okay for the evening.
All good on their front.
He does do a little bit of that kind of, you sure? Got everything you need? And then the minute that they're like, fuck off, he's like, okay, I'm gone.
Make
And then comes off.
a wits and insight roll for me.
It's an insight. That is a good one for me. 7. No, 6.
By the way, I will ask you, Michael, to tell me yes or no. Have Ophelia and Michael shared the details of how Nikki and Ricky became kindred? Including very specifically their age.
I don't know. I can't speak for Ophelia, and she can be a bit of a gossip. I think as far as Michael and Gabriel are concerned, with the twins specifically, they probably would have spoken to the twins first. And if they were happy for him to share it, he would have. He would have certainly
You would
told
have
the
gotten
Coterie that the twins exist.
You would have gotten a mixed reaction. Ricky would not have given two shits about it. Nikki, on the other hand, would have been incredibly anxious and nervous about, well, the entire affair. So it really falls on what call does Michael make? Is this
Kind of
something
minimum
they share
information.
with their new allies, or is it a secret that is being kept?
What did Ricky say? Sorry,
Ricky doesn't give a crap one way or the
didn't give
other.
a shit. He'd give, I think, the minimum. Like, this is how they met. Like, kind of like the surrounding. This is how they met the Gangrels. This is how
So,
they met Nikki and Ricky, and this is what they are now. Like, this is where we're at.
very well. In that case,
Minimum
I'll
info.
inform both Violetta and Clove. The twins were turned when they were 16. They were underage and turned by let's call it problematic gangrel, who, let's say, because I don't think even Michael knows all the details, they simply not on the street anymore. That said, you are, as you were in the office and people were arriving.
3 success, and I'd spent a willpower to try to
Right.
get more than 2, but I got 3.
Wits and insight, yes. When you ask again and insist if everything is okay, there is a reaction from Nikki that makes you think something is up. But there is almost, if we go Newtonian, an equal and opposite reaction from Ricky in giving you
Shuts
a
up.
hard stare of don't ask.
Kind of. So
Well,
they
you
had a
know that Ricky is
conversation.
very much.
He and
You know that Ricky is very much the overprotective sister.
he and Ricky had a conversation though about this, I think, before, so he knows what's going on, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of just like a deep nod at Ricky, like, okay, you know where I am if you need anything.
There is a very non-committal nod, and they both get back to what they were doing.
But he'll go up and be sat flicking through whatever Gabriel's recent notes are, making his own commentary,
Violetta, you
waiting for the
arrive.
others.
You open the door and find Michael or Gabriel, whoever it may be, one of the two, flipping through notes.
I will take my my purse off my shoulder and put it down on the counter and sit down in a chair and say, honestly, darling, I have no idea why you still drive that bicycle around. It's ridiculous. I mean, I could send 3 cars for you per hour if you'd like. It's getting very silly.
I would very much like to be able to drive, except apparently everything that I think would get us here faster is a death trap and goes missing when I wake up,
Well, you don't
which
need
is
to own
rude,
a
quite
car. We live
frankly,
in
because there's
London.
only so much he can hide, and it's like the one thing. I don't get it.
Well, if anyone tries to hide my staff members while they're trying to pick you up in a vehicle, I should be quite unhappy. So perhaps I'll pass that on to you, dear brother, when he's around this evening.
Please do. Although I would quite like to see him attempt to vanish anybody.
You say that, but you are fairly aware that there are certain tendencies to Michael that mean he is very much able to do that. Would likely
Michael
enjoy it.
continues the charade.
Would likely enjoy it.
Continues the charade for Gabriel's sake.
Mm-hmm. Clove, you open the door and find your 2 coterie members in conversation.
interrupt or be seen usually. So she just finds like a chair in the corner and like kind of like folds her legs up and says, I'll wait.
It's like quiet like a ninja. Suddenly you're in the room.
Yeah, you turn around and Clove's just sitting there and just like, I've only been here a minute. It isn't weird. I've been told that after 5 minutes, if no one has looked in my direction, I have to make a sound. It's been only a minute 30, so
I think you can join us over here.
do I have to?
Well, absolutely not. Not if you don't want to.
Okay. But then it's awkward if I do. I guess I'll just fine. Okay. And she'll just kind of like almost scurry over. Hi.
Yeah, Michael's doing that thing where he like and they're like watching you like, what are you gonna do? It's like a new thing every day. I learn something new every day.
You just hear extra blinking behind the glasses, like a pair of eyes and a slightly smaller pair of eyes.
Blink.
Yeah, but Michael.
Ah. Oh, you can. Some people can hear that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have awareness 4, I think. So
you also notice
unaware.
you also notice a few spiders clambering on the table, grabbing what is there mostly a set dressing, which is essentially sugar cubes. Grabbing some sugar cubes and taking it and clambering back up Clove.
You know, I have been meaning to ask you, how strong would you say their webbing is?
Oh, there's I don't know. Sometimes they make me hair, and she'll pull this like little bit of like white, what looks like hair, but it's actually just spider silk. Someday we're gonna try a whole head of it, but we haven't gotten that far.
Well, that answers my second question. So if there's not a full head of hair, I imagine enough silk for a dress might be out of the equation.
I could ask them. I don't know. I don't even know what they're doing with that sugar. I mean, Liz, they're my hive, but like, they have their own lives.
What you can't see is the universe. The universe, the microcosm inside Clove's body is a full city. There's a casino, an office. They're working 9 to 5.
It zooms in on like a rookie cop and a seasoned cop, having their first day.
Yeah, there's a buddy cop movie happening inside Clove right this second.
I have information. That's a thing. I like having a thing to do. I have information. I looked into one of those things that we were supposed to look into. Well, I was supposed to look into. I like being useful.
I think you're incredibly useful, and you also don't need to be incredibly useful all the time.
I disagree.
I can name at least one Coterie member who's less useful in a lot of situations.
Oh, that sounds like interpersonal things, and I am going to remove myself from the conversation. She just stays there, but she stops talking.
Just obfuscates herself very slowly.
Yeah, she says this.
So you know that she's still there, but it's just like
I
privacy screen.
Sense the unseen, just for the sake.
Damn it. Okay.
I'm not gonna make you roll because I don't think Violetta would roll for this. I mean, yes, this is there, just politely faded away to let this happen.
She sat so still.
What were you investigating?
What's the information?
Oh, hey, okay. I was checking out one of those groups. It's almost like she's listening to something.
For the GM to tell you the name, the Schattenjäger.
Oh no, I wrote the notes down.
Okay.
She's listening to her spiders.
It's
like, okay. Yes. Okay, so yes. Okay, so so this was one of the groups. This was like the Hakata, those like weird skull guys. and they're the ones who took over that it's like a hostel and it's super haunted. But I didn't really investigate the haunted part. So okay, so like we were trying to get inside. I couldn't get inside. Like I tried, I couldn't get inside, but that's okay. It's okay because I sent my little friends in there and they went through like all the cracks and stuff under the door, and there's like this lobby and it's super wide and it's like filled with other like it's filled with kindred. But they like it's like okay, so it's weird though because it's like they're in torpor, but they keep moving around. So like I guess almost like zombies, right? Like zombies, like it's something's off with there. And then it was like they seem to be like it reminded me kind of like how my spiders are. Like there was like a hive mind and there was like this one person, this one kindred in like a white suit and they were just like watching over them, but they didn't seem to be all zombie-y or hive-y. So maybe like that. I was gonna look for more, but like something kind of like I guess noticed we were there and like I lost a couple spiders. It's okay. We've replaced them. It's fine. I'm not in emotional distress. But yeah, so there's some weird stuff going on over there and I think they're probably up to something like that. Sounds like something that may be up to. Okay, so anyway, that's the end of my report.
Okay. First,
Oh, okay.
you tried to go into the
I
hostel.
tried.
That's
Oh, well, okay, but
I
I'm
don't
usually
know
pretty quiet and
the word
sneaky.
I
I
will
like to.
use.
Okay.
We were. I explained that what we know about the hostel to you. I feel like that's a Gabriel thing. He would have explained. Maybe you haven't gotten that far with him.
I might not have.
It's
I
not
mean,
good.
Michael would know if Gabriel made this explanation or not.
There's a chance that an explanation was made and Clove made an executive decision to try to go in anyway.
Don't look at it anyway.
Yeah.
What part of Doom visions and watching a big bad scary man walk in and come out without an entire undead army and armless
Yeah.
made it seem like a fun jaunt.
Well, oh no, it's not fun, but it's information. You understand that I needed more. You told me a lot of information, and what if that had changed or if it was different? Like I can't say that I've gotten all the information you need if I didn't try to see it at least with my own eyes. I mean, the spiders are pretty good, but also like you asked for information, and I do the whole thing. It also usually I can't be seen, but it didn't matter because I couldn't get in anyway. So I mean, I guess I'm blameless.
He's going to pointedly write in Gabriel's side of the notebook, don't give half information to Clove.
So
I
But
am trying to
there are
recall
zombies.
if someone knows, because I have this feeling that Venture really dislike Picada. Am I correct in that?
Let's just say,
thinking?
since the fall, there are no rules. There are no factions where one clan or another flock to. So let's just say, any feelings?
I'm sort of trying to think what my sire would have.
Oh, your sire would have told they were horribly creepy. They prefer to deal with corpses and shades than civilization, and they should be relegated to tools and never engaged as equals.
Okay. So that's pretty much what Violetta would know about them then, I think.
Can I explain to
Did
them
you
a
say
little bit about...
zombies? Yeah. Zombies?
Oh, I mean, it like zombies. Like I don't think since I was unable, and I guess probably shouldn't have, seen with my own eyes. I can only surmise they just seem to be not all there. It's like they were in torpor, but they're not in torpor. So I guess it's more of a metaphor. Unless they really are zombies. I have no way of proving either way. Should I go back?
They weren't
I used
just
to go back
Zoomers,
there.
just engaged with their TikToks, just walking around. It's awesome.
Oh, I mean I yeah, I should go back and check. I can't definitely say that
Wait.
out. So I'll just
Can I? Can Michael try to figure out if what she saw could be the weird undead shade army that was
Let's
taken
have
to
you
the
make
hostel that one time?
let's make it a wits and occult.
I don't have a cult. Blech. And I
Then
threw my
just
pen at my
then
rabbit.
just
Sorry,
straight up
Crowley.
wits. And I'm gonna put the difficulty
my
of this
pen.
at 3.
Well, I have a
Oh,
wits
boy.
3, so
A fairly complex
lost.
affair, so you'll need the 3.
roll. 3.
Hey.
3, I think. No, 5s don't count, do they? No, 2.
You're not sure. Could be, I mean, that hostel is bad news anyway. In any way you think of it, that place is bad news. So you're not entirely sure, really. You're not much of an expert on these matters.
Do some more reading on the occult stuff, man. Either of you up to date on whole bullshit stuff?
Unless you're talking about Madonna's brief stint in the Kabbalah, then I'm quite
Oh,
useless.
That sounds.
I
Wait,
mean,
one second. I
knowledge
do know
worth
some
knowing,
occult.
for sure.
I do know some occult, but one second, Violetta, that sounds very interesting. I would like to fill up a notebook about that sometime.
We can sit down and watch some YouTube videos together. And there's
Ah.
documentaries about it.
Oh, document. Okay, sounds good. I know a little occult.
Pull it up.
Oh no. Okay, what am I rolling?
Since you're having time to think about it, given that you'll be given the opportunity, and it's not more something of a first impression, you can use either intellect or wits in this case.
Can't help you because I'm not actually trained in occult.
Oh no, I got it.
Intelligence
give
or
you an
wits,
extra
whichever you
die.
prefer.
Okay, let's see here. So all together, that is. Oh wait, sorry. Okay, so occult, and I guess that's okay. All right. Also hunger, correct?
Yes, of course, as always.
Okay. I will always probably ask. Okay. Oh no, a messy critical.
Nice.
Do you write it
5
or
successes is
do you
great.
try to avoid it? You can always
try
you can always try to re-roll some of those dice and avoid the messy crit.
No, let's see how this happens.
Sure.
I think in your case, the messy crit manifests in the part of your personality that is very much data driven, and your hunger for knowledge and perhaps to be useful comes out, and instead your very shy and quiet attitude goes away, and you very much become very assertive in the way you talk. To put it, to use a movie reference that will resonate with you, you know that the character in Police Academy who speaks very softly, and then starts talking loud. That's you.
Yeah. Okay.
With 5 successes, just way more than you need. You are, based on what your spiders told you, giving it some thought and putting pieces together. Is what you're fairly certain happened is the Hekata went in there, realizing is a hotspot for occult activity, a hotspot for spiritual activity, and bit off more than can chew. And instead of them taking over the place, whatever is in there took over them. So those Hecata you see, your spider saw in torpor but moving, they're very much possessed. And they are they're made into drones, basically.
So I think it comes out like this. Like you see her thinking for a second, and now she's like, those absolute dumbasses. And she finds like the closest, like, I mean, I like to think there's probably like a big heavy glass ashtray.
I said that there's set dressing,
Yeah.
so yes.
Yeah. She's like, slams it across the wall. These absolute dumbasses. They always think they're so awesome. They think they know everything. They don't know everything, though. I'm closer to knowing everything. They got their asses possessed. They like walked in there like they're hot shit. And then, bam, they're possessed. Okay? I guess I figured it out because I'm smarter than them. So, okay.
100%.
Did I throw something?
100%.
You throw the ashtray and finish your exposition. The ashtray shatters on a wall, and at that point, Bobby just kind of leans in and says, "Is this a bad time?"
Oh, come on in. Join the crowd.
He comes in and closes the door, and comes in with essentially like a folder. And as he lays the folder down, I think that's a good place for us to take our 10-minute break. We'll be back in 10 minutes with the rest of our episode. Please don't go away, but go get something to drink. We'll be back in just a bit. And we're back.
Out of my system before we came back.
And we're back. Thank you all for joining us. We resume and return to the conversation at hand. Clove has had her moment. And Bobby comes in and drops the envelope. Says, "I've pulled some contacts and followed up with some of the stuff we spoke of last time. Just to give you all, again, an overview and to give our audience an overview, because our first episode was fucking planetary alignment ago. There are 6 factions currently vying for control of Soho, aside from our coterie. They each have taken on different names for their gangs. One of them is called the Nightsiders, which is, you don't know before this you didn't know the composition. You knew the leadership. Like the leader was a Bruja by the name of Bart Billows. Like a billowing cloak, billow. The other one is a Toreador-led gang or coterie, or you don't know if they're a coterie or they're more organized into a gang or another form of organization. They're called the Red Light Clique. Clique as in QUE, like a high school clique kind of thing. It's led by a Toreador by the name of Lorraine Malloy. The other one they seem to be more neutral and don't seem to be so much a faction in control of everything, but they have a bit of turf and they seem to just be a general danger. Especially if collateral damage gets involved. They call themselves the Sword of Soho. And their leader is Banu Hakim. Whose name is William Barstow. I'll put the names in our chat later. The other one is the one Clove reported on, which are the Hecata, the Schattenjäger, which is German for shadow hunters. Their leader is a man called Manulace. The other ones are a familiar name for Michael, Gabriel, and Ophelia, which are the local Nosferatu. A very much offshoot of whatever the clan may be doing at a national or even citywide state. They're very much handle their own, and they're kind of the Soho information brokers. They call themselves the Londinium Codex. And their leader is a man called Marlowe. I would allow a roll for Clove to see if they've heard of Marlowe or had any contact with him. I would make it a wits and investigation.
Okay. All right.
All right, it's five factions, not 6. Those are the 5. The Londinium Codex is the last one.
Guess the 6 is us.
We are
right?
the 6.
You are the 6, yes. You are the 6th faction.
Wits and investigation. Yes. Okay. Yes, this is great. Okay. 2 success.
2 successes. I would say you do not have a. You know of him. And I'd say you have heard of him from your sire, who did have contact with him. And I think you may have interacted with them looking for your sire, though I leave that to you to decide if yes or no.
I think definitely when
What you
her
know
sire,
is
yeah.
Marlowe is very much a straight shooter. But he does, while he doesn't believe that whole thing of Nosferatu's being clan first, everything else later, he's very much his people first, anyone else later. He is very much a straight shooter, and the only thing you know that is concerning, and it's something that it was intimated by your sire, is that Marlowe has call it a bad tendency to sometimes let his personal feelings and his own issues, personal issues, his own prejudices, affect. It makes him assume things instead of following the information wherever it may lead. But it's not common. It really depends if he has, for example, if you're looking for information on someone he has a personal issue with, he may or may not let those feelings color the information that he provides. With that said, Bobby says, okay, I sense, as Miss Ophelia suggested, I sent some feelers to Marlowe. He's agreed to a meeting. Anything beyond that, I don't know. It will depend on what's discussed. But if we can get the Codex on board and, get some exclusivity deals so they're kind of just working for us, or for you, sorry. That is, a tremendous amount of power. Just information alone, I think Ms. Clove will agree.
Yes, this is the most important thing we should do. Information.
Right.
I should go now. Okay, I'm gonna go now and get some information.
If you'll let me finish, I think we may want the rest of the information.
Okay. Oh, information. Oh, okay. Yes. All right. Yes.
I asked a bit around on some of my. There's a bunch of the young gangrel around Soho. We used to take care of them. They kind of spread out now. There's a bunch of them that I call the Eonates or the E-Kids, because whoever the fucking parents are decided to name them all with names that sound like E at the end, like Nikki, Ricky, Andy, Christy, Jesse, Tommy, that kind of shit, that kind of name. There's a Vinny in there somewhere as well.
Like Bobby?
I see your point. I see your point. But I usually go by Robert. I allowed them to call me Bobby, and it kind of stuck.
I see. Okay, she files that away.
But I do see. I fine. Okay, yeah.
Can't escape the big brother.
I
That's
am
what
not
you are
exempt from this. Fine. They are very much they've kind of been absorbed into this into the Nightsiders. And I asked around, what the deal was. Very much Bruja led. There's some Gangrel in there. I think there's a Tremere somewhere in there. These kids don't have the greatest attention span. But one thing they told me that I was worried about is that the Nightsiders have Kine with them. They have humans working with them that seem to know exactly who and what they're working with. Which, in the old days might have been a big no. Now makes me a bit uncomfortable.
Doesn't sound like a problem that's going to take care of itself.
I don't think so. I mean, they could very well take the humans out, but it's going to be a mess that someone's going to have to clean. And they have muscle. The only thing I can say, they have muscle. Fair amount of muscle. So that's the Nightsiders. I caught some. Let's just say Marlowe threw me a bone when I went to talk to him. There's a member in the Red Light Clique who's been asking questions about Ophelia.
Interesting.
So,
what kind of questions? Well, he didn't say.
Personal details. Very, very intimate personal details. And more details of how they've, how old they are, how well they've taken to the kindred life. How you always mentioned that Ophelia didn't know who her vampire daddy was?
Yeah, she got blindsided.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them, I don't know.
Looking.
Yeah, so just want to give a heads up. For the record, the Batman wannabes, the sort of Soho, their leader, I know him. He's intense.
The sort of Sohos, right?
Yeah, the Banu Hakim. They're very much. He is very much Judge Dredd, judge, jury, executioner kind of thing. If we can prove to him that we can keep this area under control and keep, people safe, both ours and the regular folk, we may have a chance to pull him to our side. But for now, he's an equal opportunity ass kicker. And the weird Hakata in the hostel, no clue whatsoever. That place, as I've mentioned in the past, gives me the heebie-jeebies. I am not stepping close.
I think that's the sensible option. Thanks, Bobby. That's a lot of really helpful information too.
GM, with the that name that you gave us, Lorraine Malloy, for the Red Light Clique, would that name have popped up in connection with any large financial transactions?
It's how you make it either wits or intelligence and investigation.
Would I be able to roll finance?
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
I can't help you with finance. I could have helped you with investigation.
I think this will be one of those cases where it's a case of too many cooks in the kitchen. Because it's very much specialized knowledge of someone who works in the area of business.
I think I will browse the blood here for the intelligence.
Please tell me,
Why
do you
not?
get hungrier?
I do get hungrier. I'm not hungry too. But
Spiteful.
yeah.
If
So
you make the
let me
roll, and
add
then we'll
in
take care of that.
another thingy there.
Mechanically for that, just because I know that Violetta is different generation, does she get the extra? Does she get the third dice for rousing or for surging?
I only put in 2, so I don't know if I should. You know what? Why not?
And also,
I'm
even
gonna-
at a higher generation, if you let time slip by, your
gonna
potency
ride
reduces.
I'm gonna ride that willpower to re-roll just 3 dice because I'm feeling like that would be good information to have. Well, that didn't help. Still, it's 4 successes.
4 successes.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, great.
The name you have, that name has both reached your ears and crossed your desk.
Okay.
Lorraine Malloy is involved in entertainment. In both let's say like West End theater kind of thing. Not so much in production, but in ownership of theaters. Very much in ownership of real estate. Her name is associated with at least 2 very popular clubs in London, and you know that there have been that because you got a portfolio, basically a kind of basic portfolio for her as a potential person of interest in some business dealings. She has her hands very much on what we would call the red light district kind of entertainment. Let's call it the adult venues of London. She also has her hand in those.
Excellent.
Which Soho does have a fair share of them. As if no one knows, Soho kind of like Sex Shop Central. Your burlesque club is high end for Soho. Yeah, she is.
We could have been the peppermint hippo, but we're not.
You could have, but no.
Very good. It's good to have that information. I think Violetta's just listening intently and making mental notes.
Okay. So, when are we supposed to meet Marlowe, or did he just say yes and let him
You hear
know
a
when?
voice behind you say, "How about now?"
Oh.
And there's stepping out of a shadow is a Nosferatu.
Marlowe.
You see a man with very almost like granite gray skin, with a scar that almost like never fully healed, and it's basically almost like splits his face in half, and it looks kind of like rotten wound. It's very unpleasant to look at.
Good to see you again.
Apologies for barging in, but figured that since Bobby was reporting on information I provided, might as well be here.
Well, you're more than welcome.
I take it you wish to rekindle a relationship?
I see
Would
what you did
very
there.
much
That's
like to try
excellent
that,
wordplay.
yes.
You understand my reticence to jump into such an arrangement again after the last time this house of cards fell. I will need assurances and, put it simply, a test. I need to know if you are willing and capable of doing what needs to be done to keep me and mine safe and keep control of this domain. If you can,
So you're asking
if
us
you
to
can do that, the codex stands with you. If not, then we serve the highest bidder.
What do you need us to do, Marlo?
He puts a hand inside his sweater and pulls out like a folded, like manila envelope and tosses it on the table. There are two women now stalking the streets of Soho. Their names are Letitia and Oriana something or other. They have several different names according to paperwork. None of the surnames match any records, though the names seem to be a constant. They're hunters. They've been targeting my people. I simply put, want them taken out. Bring me their heads, and we have a deal.
What are their names again? Sorry, so I can write them in my.
Letitia, Letitia, and Ariana, like Ariana Grande, basically.
How long have they been tracking me?
I've been here for 2 weeks. We've mostly kept hidden, but one of my children is missing. I'm not counting very much on her being returned alive or unlive or whatever. I guess they are extracting information to, well, come after the rest of us. So this is both for me and in all of our best interest.
While he is speaking, it's possible for me to look in this envelope already.
Yes, of course.
Are there photographs of said
Yes.
people?
Yes, they're photographs.
Based on my my past here, nobody I recognize.
Ooh. I am willing to, and I'm going to throw this out there. I'm willing to offer, and this is not in the system. This is not part of Vampire the Masquerade. This is pure me. I'm willing to throw a free success in a pool, and you can you can take it whenever you might need a success. But in exchange, there is a direct line between them and a member of your coterie.
You know, I like complications. I just think that's fun.
Particularly Violetta.
I think that's very entertaining. I'm willing.
I'll leave that to the decision of the group.
You said that the direct line is to Violetta?
Yeah.
Well, then I defer to her judgment. Oh, it's judgment first.
Yes.
just think
it's
Entertaining.
absolutely your decision. Yeah.
Okay.
It affects you. And then I also think then, in fairness, the free success belongs to you as well. If you take the
It,
bill.
Sure.
it goes into a pool. It will remain to a pool. So you can always discuss who will take it. But
Excellent.
you make a
I
note that
think
there
that's-
is a free floating success.
Okay. I'm making a little box here for a pool of them.
You deal with money. You deal with people in higher reaches of industry, government, politics, religion, everything. There are off-book accounts and off-book contacts who, let's say, stretch the boundaries of the definition of legal. You have
That's why you become a
personally,
lawyer in the first place.
you have personally used the service of these two women to make problems disappear.
Excellent.
And with that, you know they are very effective. And on a scale of 1 to 10 of dangerous individuals, a solid 9. At least from mortal points of view.
Just because I think this is fun, would you like me to make a resolve and composure roll when I'm looking through this folder?
It wouldn't be composure. I think it would be, let's make it a manipulation or composure and subterfuge to see if you can keep it out of your face that
we'll
you
go
know
for
them.
manipulation, subterfuge, because that's much better.
I like a passive perception in this system.
No, you need to actively roll wits and insight.
Yeah.
Though it acts as reflective as well. If it's happening, you have the opportunity to roll.
And just because I can, because it's, why not? I'll use another superficial willpower just to reroll those ones. Why not? Let's see what we get here.
I am going to enjoy this if we're going to be making deals.
That's much better. Fantastic. 6 successes. I'm so glad that I rolled max, and it's not like a crit or anything, so I don't have to worry about it.
Let's see.
Great.
Let's see what the rest of the group rolls.
I don't think I can. Well, I can roll a 6 success, but it will need all of them to be successes.
It's the first time tonight that my willpower actually did anything. The others were
Only
just
2.
like, nah, it's not happening.
Only 2. And for Clove, you muted. 4.
4?
4.
Okay.
She's up a little in Violetta's face because she really wants that file, but Violetta got it before.
Violetta is
She's like,
this
yeah.
is
Poker face.
yeah, this is the poker face to rule them all. You do not give away anything, and you're an expert in micro expressions. So you control every minor aspect of what you're showing them, and you give away nothing.
Maybe noticing
But
a little
there-
hanging spider thread.
But I would say there
I'll
is.
pass it on to Clove.
Oh, are
I
you
would
done though?
say while you do not share it, if you still felt these things, there will be that thing in the pit of your stomach or a chill down your spine when you see the faces.
That's house cleaning to do.
The surname you've seen used for them, the same names, Letitia and Oriana, but for you, the surname you've seen attached them is Cavendish.
All right. C or K? C, right?
Caven and dish, like a dish.
Are they
Cavendish.
mortals? I'm For
They're
my
mortals.
notes, not for Michael's knowledge.
I mean, everything that looks, you know, they look the age they're supposed to reach is about 35. Details are a bit scarce. It's the kind of thing where you find in Marlo's documents on them are extensive, but he shows at least 5 different birth dates, 5 different places of birth, multiple identities. So these are not normal people. Even if
has it out on the floor right now.
If you hadn't heard that, you know, the word hunter, you would think they're shady as hell.
This over here. I don't use Post-its. I use spiders. Hold that line.
You see
Are they
Clove move a
specifically-
hand, and there's a spider grabbing the paper and
Okay,
attaching it somewhere.
Yeah, filing.
Do they
If they
exclusively
happen to be
hunt our
jumping
kind?
spiders, I'll be
Oh no!
worried.
This is the first thing you've heard of them being referred as hunters, and Marlo says, "I don't have that information.
Okay, no, that's
I
fine.
just know they've been around Soho and they've been in places where we hang out, to put it in a way."
Yeah, and you said 2 weeks.
Yeah, one of my children is also gone missing. So
Just an offhand thought, really. If we are looking to take care of this Carter problem, could we not shove the hunters in to deal with a house full of ghosts?
if you can pull it off,
I mean, it would certainly
more
get
power
them off
to
of his
you.
back.
So we're going back.
Add
I
to the
want them
things.
dead. So, however you get them to that state,
Oh.
I have no issue. Just if you can't bring me their heads, bring me proof of their demise.
We'll
Whatever
our
you
best to
want to
get
do
you
with them before you report to me, that's up to you. I don't get involved in that. But I need you to prove to me that you can handle business.
You got it.
Is this personal?
Marlo steps closer to you, leans in close, and whispers to you, as personal as when you came asking for information on what you were after.
Okay, thank you. That's important information to have.
Your child, can you tell us a bit about them in case there's a
You wanna?
Wait for
Well,
us to
you
find
should
them for
already
you.
be familiar with her. It's Abigail. Once before,
the one
she
that
acted
was
as my
in the bar?
she acted as my intermediary with this group. You will recognize her from her eyes. They are very distinctive, even for our kind. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must leave unless you have another question.
I have lots of
Right.
questions, but not about this.
Okay.
Thank you, Marlo, and we'll do our best to get this sorted for you.
I expect your contact. And he walks towards the door, opens it, and by the time it closes, there's no one there. Like even the glass that sees past the door, there's nothing there.
What does
I do not
Bobby
turn
look
on
like?
since the unseen.
Bobby very much looks like the character Bobby Singer in Supernatural. So big, burly, bearded kind of fellow.
He was a little bit like on the older spectrum, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, he's a bit younger.
Comparative.
Yeah, or Bobby is much younger than that, but it's the kind of look.
Okay. I'm just trying to think if this is Violetha's feeding preference or not.
If you look at if you study him closely, you can see he has very much callous hands. Someone who's worked with their hands their entire life.
Okay, no, so this is not her.
He's got his face back at least.
Yeah, took a while. But as well,
Yeah, probably.
if I'm gonna head down, I need to help with the show.
Yeah.
If you need
Thank you.
anything, let me know. And well, whatever you. I mean, the twins are also downstairs. If you need anything. Good luck. And he walks away. Violetta, now that everything has passed, you do hear in your mind, you are going on to business, and you're going around hungry. I have taught you better than that. Go, handle it, and don't be afraid to take more than needed. It's best to be on a full stomach when there's business afoot.
It's just
After all, there's more kind wherever you take came from.
back in Viola's own mind, just hate it when you're right. Well, unless we plan to do anything today, I was thinking I might stop by for a drink somewhere. And, well, I suppose we can talk out a plan first. I can wait.
I thought I might try to see if the void has any answers for us about Abigail or about any of the other things on our current plates.
Who do you wish to ask?
I was gonna look into the void. I was just gonna
Ah,
jumpstart a premonition.
roll. I think
Well,
you
it
need to
was
rouse.
a it
Don't
was
you
a
need to
discussion.
rouse?
He does need to rouse to jumpstart it, but what I mean is he's asking the group. Like, I could do that, but I pretty much only want to do that once tonight. So, do we have a preference on which
Well,
question to ask?
before you do that, I was wanting to mention that Malloy woman. Some of her details have passed through my desk once or twice, and I am keen to find out exactly how her finances are handled, to be honest. It would be very beneficial if I could perhaps get hold of them myself. But that can be done. Certainly, anything can be done for a price. I imagine Ophelia will have some questions with regarding to at least some of their coterie peeking around corners, but
Yes, I think when we bring that to her attention, we should Ophelia is very young, and I think we should be a part of whatever exchange she decides to attend.
something that I would like to know is and she sort of like crosses her legs at this point and sits back in the chair, and she's like contemplating things. What is the end game or end result here? Different groups vying for power. Are we wanting to coalesce everything together, or my preference is, rather than mergers and acquisitions, is, what was it Patrick Bateman said, murders and executions?
I think problematic players who don't wish to walk the same direction as us. It's easier if they're no longer walking on the same path at all.
I spend a lot of my business life talking. It is sometimes it's nice to get to the point. So it would be good if we could do that, at least some of these.
I do think, though, there is some merit in merger. We are what, 5 individuals. So far, I'm aware that almost all of these groups have more manpower than us. Not that long ago, a group of like my previous coterie, we built quite a lot of power by building allies, and I think there's some strength in that too. I think it's about picking our friends carefully.
Quite a few unknowns at this point in time, so
Too many unknowns, though. I don't like unknowns.
I would like to try and think of some way, if at all possible, to get our lovely hunters involved in our ghost hotel business. I think that would be an excellent diversion.
I have a concern.
We could
feel
put
like
body
Michael's
cams on
face
them
goes
and
from
just
like
put it up on the internet.
Michael's face goes from like intense, I'm with you, yeah, okay, we can kill a few people, that's fine, to like, I have concern that I would like to pretend that the hostel doesn't exist at all, and that's just not going to happen because I look out that window and it stares at me. So you said there's a bunch of possessed zombie vampires in there, and that's bad, really bad. Have you, Violetta, can you see things that aren't there?
Thank God, no.
I can. And when I look at it, it's I feel like you like the imagery. It's almost like a very large spider reaching out its legs to everything else in the vicinity.
That is very
And
comforting.
it
Yes.
gets stronger all the time. It really needs to be dealt with. And I watched, I can't remember what his name was, the Giovanni, who was a very powerful player in the previous coteries' lifetime. I watched him turn the streets to shadow with his shades, I suppose, and he marched like a goddamn army on that place, and he came out single-handed, literally, carrying his spare arm with him. So I don't know if putting very dangerous individuals in there, along with all the other things that are in there, if we have to eventually deal with it, actually makes our lives easier in the long
Hoping
run.
that they would take care of the messy cleanup part, but I see your point, yes.
However, could we throw them at someone else? Literally
Yes.
anybody else. I suppose we need to choose who we think would be our strongest allies and who we think would be the easiest allies to make. I know Ophelia isn't here. I feel like she would quite like to give your Lorraine Malloy. I think she would like to meet them, especially knowing that they're looking for her. Well, I know not this Lorraine necessarily, but somebody in her.
Someone in a
Thick.
coterie, yes.
The sword of Soho is a hard sell, I think. But I don't know that we need to do anything overt.
I feel like that kind of righteous fury and indignation is very easy to manipulate.
I think the Banu Hakim are very singular minded. It's about policing our kind almost.
Hmm.
You're right, though. Righteous fury is somewhat predictable. But I don't know this man in particular, although Bobby does, so it's possible we can get not necessarily more info, but some insight maybe.
Hmm.
I'm somewhat concerned about our what did they call them? The Eonates. I don't I don't like the idea of these. They are they're children.
Hmm.
Some of them perhaps not in mind. A lot of them though haven't been turned for very long and they weren't very old at the time of turning. And I think I don't want to watch that all blow up on them as well.
No. I think if at all possible, what do they call themselves? The Nightsiders was the name of that coterie. I would rather try and stop them from ending up killing themselves by subjugating themselves to more.
I also don't really want to be dealing with a whole bunch of Kine who know all about us. That's kind of it's kind of the precursor to big, terrible things happening to people like us. Too many Kine knowing too much. But I don't know their operation and I don't know what they're doing with them if they're not schooling them. I like that.
They're not these. Honestly, the way it was described sounds like they might be leftovers of Sabat that were barely aware of what they were before everyone left. And now they're just doing things.
Well, it could also be the more stereotypical Bruja. or the less stereotypical Bruja who are all for revolutions, smashing the status quo.
Isn't very much of a status quo at the moment.
No, but I think there's an old status quo that they may prop up to smash against. That being said,
Clove, you're muted.
I don't know. I don't know what I do know that I want Marlowe on team. He was an ally before. And honestly, they helped us and we helped them. So I think I'm okay to help again. You said direct these hunters elsewhere. Would you say it as if you know how to do that?
I'm very good at directing people. It's my job, dear.
I didn't think it was your job to direct hunters.
You've clearly never worked for a corporate law firm before.
No, I work in before I worked here. Some shifts. I still work occasionally where I used to work. I just look after old folks. It's not glamorous.
Far less predatory behavior going on there, I would imagine.
We should find Abigail.
There's some predatory behavior going on there, and he'll kind of like grin.
Abigail.
We should find Abigail. If you want Marlowe to be on your side, we need to find Abigail. Maybe even before we do anything with the hunters. He won't say it, but he would rather have Abigail returned. And then
That's
their
what I
heads.
was thinking.
I might be able to do a little investigating, just see if anyone's seen anything. I'm sure Marlowe has tried, but I have my own ways.
I know Abigail. It would be easier for me to get to look for her than any of these unknown right now. What I see is anybody's guess.
Yeah, I think that's the question then.
So I'm only doing it once.
So are you
okay? No, that's okay. I'm going to watch you do it though.
Are you triggering your vision?
Yeah, I'm going to look for Abigail. Let me rouse.
I have two things to tell you. The first is you focus and draw your sight inwards into whatever mad void is inside the Malkavian that drives those visions. And as the images come to you, I tell you, this is where we leave our session tonight. And we'll see
Clove
what those
staring
images,
down at them.
And we'll see what those images are. What your other side brings to you next time.
And you're like, why are you such a jerk all the time? Ah, there we go.
I mean, I do the vision first and then I get hungrier. That's how rousing and getting hungrier works. You do the thing and then you get hungrier. So that's fun. Like you said, it's not pleasant.
So that's going to be it for us for tonight. Thank you all for joining us for an episode of Kine Country Turf War. And we'll see where this war takes us next time. Before we go, we'll quickly just go around the room and people can tell you who they are, who they were playing, and where you can find them in the dark corners of the internet. So Nate, take it away.
I'm Nate. I've been playing all session. Michael Hale, your local Malkavian. And you can find me on this channel, playing various other games throughout the week. it returns soon. And you can find me on Twitter as Tiniest Sidekick.
Megan.
Oh no, me.
Yeah,
I'm
you.
Megan. I've been playing Clove, the Spider Nosferatu. You can find me Twitter at QuiNot, and at the very top I have a card which has all my other socials. I'm here on Twitch as Murphy Pop Art. I've been playing Cult of the Lamb. It's a game that's specifically made for me, apparently, and I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm done playing it.
I have some
And
ideas.
yeah, you have to. And on my socials, you'll see different shows I'm on. Or I'm also in a Monster of the Week podcast called $2 Creature Feature, which you can find anywhere you can find podcasts.
And Adrian.
I'm Adrian. I'm playing Violet St. Pierre on this wonderful show. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter if you want to look for me at Wolfman Gaming, but with a 6 for the first G and a 9 for the second G. Because you have to put that in somewhere.
It's a nice handle.
Rounds it all.
Like that. It took me a second.
There won't be on our point of view, there won't be a D&D game this week. Though we'll likely be returning in a week or so. Various things going on real life that prevent our return at this moment. And if you are interested in a Kids on Bikes game where every story is pulled from 1985 games deck of stories, head on to the Lawful Geek YouTube channel and catch the first 2 episodes of Kernels of Mystery, which we put out. And next Wednesday is the 3rd episode, which will have Adrian as a guest, which was recorded some time ago, playing a delightful character.
Yeah.
Good old Tommy.
Good old Tommy.
Oh, Tommy. The best of us.
Other than that, if you are in the other things I tend to play and focus on this channel are RPGs and video games, particularly JRPGs. If you're interested in the Trails series, so Trails in the Sky, Trails of Cold Steel, that sort of thing, or the East series, I've put out a couple of videos giving you everything you need to know to get into those game series in basically 10 minutes or less. So they're quick and give you everything you need. But yeah, that's all from us. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for watching. We hope you had a good time, and we will see you next time.